All right, we're heading to the Riviera Maya. Now, when you hear that name, you probably think of paradise, right? White sand beaches, crystal clear water. But that paradise is facing a crisis that's pushing it right to the brink. And what's fascinating is how that pressure is sparking some really incredible innovation. Let's get into it. You know what? This quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures what's going on. You've got this dream of a perfect, pristine beach, clashing with the hard reality of what's actually washing ashore. And that clash is forcing everyone, from local business owners to the government, to completely rethink how you protect a place like this. So, what exactly is happening? Well, it's not just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm of environmental pressures, and they're all hitting the same exact coastline, all at the same time. First, you've got plastic waste, just floating in on the ocean currents, getting tangled up in all the fragile ecosystems. Then you've got these massive waves of sargassum seaweed showing up, and they seem to get bigger every single year. And while all that's happening, the coastline itself is just slowly washing away. The thing is, these problems don't happen in a vacuum. They feed off each other, creating this constant compounding pressure on the whole region. As you can imagine, just trying to keep your head above water in a crisis like this comes with a pretty staggering price tag. Let's take a look at the actual economics of just trying to react to the problem day after day. Okay, to give you a sense of the scale here, just get a load of this number. In 2025 alone, scientists tracked 38 times million metric tons of sargassum floating across the Atlantic. That's the biggest bloom ever recorded. And guess where a huge chunk of that ends up? Right here. This isn't some minor annoyance, it's an absolutely overwhelming logistical and ecological nightmare. And that nightmare translates into some massive annual costs. We're talking up to $150 million a year just to manage the sargassum. On top of that, you have the cost of restoring sand to the eroding beaches. That's called beach nourishment. And that can run another 35 to 41 million bucks each time. These are just enormous amounts of money being spent just to tread water. And here's the really crucial point. Even after spending hundreds of millions of dollars, most of these efforts are just band-aids. They're temporary fixes. You clean the beaches one day, and the very next, the tide brings in a whole new wave of sargassum and washes away more of that expensive sand. It's this costly, frustrating cycle that you can't possibly win. But this is where the story starts to shift. You've got leaders like Governor Mara Lizama saying, okay, we have to change our strategy. The focus is finally moving away from just cleaning up and reacting and towards building a truly resilient economy where growth and environmental protection can actually happen at the same time. This is the big pivot from reaction to regeneration. And this is the really cool part. This new way of thinking is unleashing some incredible creativity. Innovators are looking at these huge problems, the plastic, the seaweed, and they're no longer seeing them as waste. They're seeing them as a resource. So here's the new playbook. It starts with the problem itself, right? The sargassum and plastic washing ashore. Then you have entrepreneurs stepping in, applying new tech to process all that stuff. And out the other end come totally new products. We're talking everything from consumer goods and building materials to even fuel. It's a circular economy born out of a crisis. And this isn't just some idea on a whiteboard. It is happening right now. You've got sargassum sandals turning that algae into footwear. A company called Decatso has invented sargassum, which is basically a building material that uses sargassum biomass as an alternative to concrete. And then there's pet gas, which is taking recovered plastic and turning it back into usable fuel. This is literally necessity being the mother of invention. But, dealing with the waste on the shore is really only half the battle. If you want to solve the erosion problem for good, you have to look below the waterline, at the root cause. So let's see what's happening out there. And this is where a really cool solution called Reef Starter comes into the picture. It's part of a whole new category called living coastal protection. So instead of just building a giant concrete wall to fight the ocean, this approach uses systems that are engineered for strength, but they're also designed to work with the marine ecosystem, not against it. So how well does it work? Well, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. These systems are engineered to knock out up to 90% of the wave energy. By calming the water before it can smash into the shore, they directly fight the force that causes erosion in the first place. And that actually lets the beaches start to rebuild naturally. So how does it do it? Well, the actual shapes of the modules are specifically designed to create little homes for coral, seagrass, and fish. The whole system is modular, with these interlocking, storm-rated blocks that slow down waves while also inviting marine life to move right in. And you can even fit them with sensors to get real-time data on coastal conditions. So it's strong, it's smart, and it's literally alive. And what's great is that this approach creates value for pretty much everyone. Resorts, they get their beaches protected, plus a really cool, unique underwater experience for their guests. For communities, you get safer shorelines, more marine habitat, and local jobs. And for groups like insurers or governments, that real-time data helps reduce risk and make better decisions. It's truly a win-win-win situation. So when you start to put all these pieces together, the innovation happening on the shore and the innovation happening in the water, a whole new, much more hopeful picture for the future starts to take shape. And really, this is the key takeaway from all of this. The solution isn't just one thing. It's not just about cleaning up sargassum, and it's not just about building a better seawall. The real future here lies in these integrated systems that address what's happening on the shoreline and below the waterline all at the same time. Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. What's happening in the Riviera Maya is this incredible story of resilience. And it really makes you wonder, as so many coastlines all over the world start facing these exact same threats, could the solutions being forged in this one corner of paradise actually become the blueprint for how we save coastlines everywhere?